Hey guys, my name's Dee. This is the Heroine's Corner and welcome back to my channel. And today I'm going to be doing my January wrap up. I have read more or less like 4.5 books. I'm planning to finish the fifth one today. But yeah, 5 books. None of them are horrible. None of them are horrible, none of them are bad. So it's a really good start to my kind of reading year. I don't want to ramble on too much, so let's just get into the books that I've read and let me tell you some of my thoughts about them. The first book I read this year was Black and British Forgotten History, and this is a non-fiction history book centering Black British history, going all the way back to the Roman times and then up until the late 20th century. So this book was like 5-star read for me. By David Elishoga. This book was a 5-star read for me. It was so fascinating to see Black British history in such a wide perspective and how much Black British history like intersects with like international history like America and obviously like Africa. I feel like this is a really solid foundation if you want to know more about Black British history. Also, I did review this book on my channel a couple of weeks ago, so I'll leave a link down in the description and up there if I can do it. This book just really opened my eyes to what Black British history actually is, and not just the Black British history that was shown on like TV or like through film or television. Black British history is more than the Windrush generation. It's more than that mass of migration after World War II. We are so integral to the history of Britain, and yeah, I just really love this book. I would recommend it if you like history, if you want to get into like Black history. I would really recommend this book. The second book I read this month was British by F.Y. Hirsch. So this is a non-fiction, and it's one of those like issue books, I guess, and it's basically we follow the author's lived experiences being a mixed race woman, and like all the issues and complexities around that, while also dealing with like the different issues when it comes to like race and identity in the UK. So this book was not quite 5 stars. I'll probably give it like 4 stars, 3.5. It was a decent read. I felt like at some parts it just felt like this book wasn't for me because it almost became like a racism 101, and like I was reading sections and I was like, I already know quite like enough about this. Like, I don't know if it's just because obviously I'm a Black woman, so I understand some of these issues firsthand compared to like other people. But yeah, I just did feel like that. But my favorite parts of this book was when it became more about her actual life and when she was traveling and all the experiences she had while she was traveling. I really felt for the author and her trying to reconnect with her like African culture and her African background, and she's really trying to find herself in all these different identities she's like wrapped up in. It wasn't a mind-blowing book, but I guess it was just a pretty solid book if you are wanted to know more about race and identity and how it's dealt in the UK. If you want to know more about that, then this is the book for you. But yeah, I would recommend it. So the next book I read this month was Mr. Liverman by Bernardine Evaristo, and this is a book about an old Caribbean man. I'm pretty sure he's from I think I remember he's from Antigua, and he's basically in his late 70s, and he cheats on his wife with his best friend who is also a man. I really did like this book. It was such a fun and entertaining and just comedic read. Benji Evaristo was just doing so well with characterizations, and nothing came off as just like forced. You're just reading the book and it was just flowing so nicely, and you really just get wrapped up in this guy. His name's Barrington. You really get wrapped up in Barrington's story and his personality, and he isn't an angel. He says really questionable stuff, and what he does to other characters, like especially like his wife, with like cheating on her for a number of years in their marriage, like is not a good thing at all. But I was surprised the amount of like depth that I got in this book. So even though it could be a very fun and light read, that parts where it's just really it really got to you. Like it really just suddenly like stabbed you in the heart. Like that kind of emotion and the things that like Bernadine Evaristo was describing in her book. What we're also following Barrington, we're also following his wife. So we're seeing like the two sides of this marriage essentially, and it's a really troubled marriage, but a really fascinating marriage to investigate as well during the course of this book. So I don't want to say too much because spoilers obviously, but I really enjoyed this book. I would give it like 4 stars. Just a really quick, fun read, but there was also a lot of surprising depth in here, which really just makes this book so much better. And of course, this old Caribbean kind of perspective was really fun and interesting to read as like half Caribbean myself. And yeah, I just really liked this. So the next book I read was my classic of the month, and that classic was Things Fall Apart by Chinua Achebe, and I finished this yesterday. And wow, this classic, I can see why everyone loves to read it and loves to analyze it and dissect it. And I didn't get that during because while I was reading it up until right at the end. We are following like this the main character Okonkwo, and he is basically this really strong warrior wrestling type man, and he doesn't like anything that is feminine or gentle because those are the things that he associates with his dad, and his dad was basically a deadbeat or he basically just lounged around and he was laughed at like in the community. So he wants to be everything that his father is not, and that means being tough and powerful and strong, and that also means being very aggressive and angry. And we kind of see how things fall apart, like and not just personally with Okonkwo and his anger really leading to major like mistakes and consequences that damage his own sense of self and status, but also we see things falling apart when we see white missionaries enter the kind of village, and all that fall out with the battle between Christianity and the actual like villages, like gods and religion. So this book was so interesting to read. For the most part, you are just following Okonkwo and his life and like all the mistakes that he makes. But up until the end, I would say like the end 50 pages, I really just see how it just turns, and I don't know how to express this to people, but it's like I don't know. I don't want to give spoilers to anyone who hasn't read this book, but the last 50 pages really something flips, and then especially the last couple of lines on this book, and it just recontextualizes how you see the whole story, because you value, like, even though we are just following the day-to-day lives of these like villagers, you really value how much culture and how much pride these people had in their traditions. And yeah, I just really like this book. The last book I'm reading this month is actually a book that I haven't finished yet, and that's Girl, Woman, Other by Bernardine Evaristo. And I am basically halfway. I'm just past halfway. It's the end of the month. It's the last day of January now, so I am powering through this book as much as possible. So you'll probably see this book again in my February wrap up. But I did want to just talk about it here, because I am planning to finish it in January. So this book, the simplest way to describe this book is almost like an anthology of stories about Black British women in different walks of life, and all the challenges that they face, and all these like interpersonal struggles that they're also facing. And this book is doing really well. I'm really enjoying it, and it's a book that I wasn't expecting so much depth and layering in this book. Like, I knew it was critically acclaimed, so obviously there had to be like something in this book, but it was just so it's really complex, and how she like weaves these stories, and it's just perfect how she writes. Oh my god, like, I just love the writing in this book. She just writes, it's so captivating. It's captivating. The writing is very captivating. But yeah, I'm planning to finish this today. If you hear about this book again on my channel, it'll probably be either in a review or in a in my February wrap up, just to like talk about this book a bit more, like and give my whole thoughts on it. See from the future here, I did finish Girl, Woman, Other in January, in the dying hours of January, and I really enjoyed it. I will be filming a book review for it, so stay tuned for that. But yeah, really awesome book. These were the books I read in January. I read 5 books. Like that's a very solid foundation for my reading. Yeah, I can't wait to read more books, and I'm really happy that 4 out of the 5 of these books were Black British books. Really putting my Black British identity at the forefront of my reading. But yeah, I can't wait to just read more fantastic Black authors next month. But yeah, that is it. Please tell me what books you read. Tell me if any of the books I read interest you, or if you've read them. Tell me your thoughts. But yeah, just tell me about your January wrap up. How was your January reading month? But yeah, I'll see you guys again soon. Have a wonderful day. Oh, subscribe and like down below, and also follow me on Twitter. And that is it. I'll see you guys again soon on another video. Bye.